Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Team Black and Gold show. I am Blake Yount, executive broker with the Team Black and Gold at eXp Realty NWA Branch. Phone number is 866-720-5056. My phone number is 479-363-4331. Ashley, my wife, realtor and partner in crime, partner in business, partner in life, partner in everything, is 479-325-9348 if you want to talk to her. All right, so last week we were looking at pricing my personal home as if I was going to go on the market and sell it. And rather than diving directly into the property itself, I explained that it's very important to get an idea of the market in general. So we dove into the Prairie Grove market, found out that it was a balanced market, found out that new construction has a pretty heavy influence on the market right now. We found out that it's taking about 90 to 100 days to get a house on the market and sell it, and that the average house was a 3 or 4 bedroom and between 1750 to about 1850 on the square footage. So all of those things are important in figuring out how your home might fit into the market that you're in, which is going to be different from Prairie Grove to Farmington to Fayetteville to Siloam to Bella Vista, and on it goes. Every market is a little bit different in general, and then it even gets more specific, obviously, as you narrow the criteria down to your neighborhood, your street, your property, which is what we're going to do right now. So we're on step number 5. Took about an hour to get through steps 1 through 4. I'll try not to do that again to get to the end here. But step number 5 is where we're going to narrow our criteria. So let's click on over here. I think we can move. Yeah, let's get all this in here. Okay, so I've already kind of preloaded the initial criteria that I want to look at. The square footage. So first of all, I just want to look at the solds over here where my mouse thing is over the last year. So what is sold in Prairie Grove over the last year? It's got to be a house sitting on 3/4 acres or less, because I'm on a regular building lot. And the age of the home, mine was built 22, 23, somewhere in there. And I wanted to ace out new construction homes. So right now I'm taking out 2024, 2025. This is just for sold. So when it gets to what is active, I'm going to add new construction back in, because that is my competition. New construction competition is going to change what I think can get done in the market with a home that's not new. So 2018 to 2023, I could go older. I could go 2015. But I think my house is in the style of things that started, around 2017, 2018, 2019. I think probably 2018 to 2025, 2026 is going to be this certain style. And these are things that you just kind of pick up along the way. But I thought we could get enough data off this 5-year window here and take out the new construction influence. So next would be the square footage. My house is 1976 on the square footage, so I just went about 200 square feet either direction, about 10% to make nice whole numbers, because I like that. You could go up to 20%, or you could cut it off at 1,800 and 2,100, which is probably where the avatar buyer is going to fall. But you see we get 14 results here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these. And it's on public single line display, so I don't get in any kind of trouble. And then right now, again, I'm just looking at the numbers. So first I'm going to go into the stats. And we're about 185 a square foot. The house that it all mingles together is 4-bed, 2-bath, a lot like mine. Mine's 4, 2.5. 1968, 1950 square footage, so about 360, 365, and it takes about 60 days to close. So 30 days to offer, 60 days to close. So right now I'm sitting at about 360 to 365 in my assessment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go we're going to unclick all of these, and we're going to go into these houses. Let's see, we don't want that. We want the public. First of all, let's get out of there, go public. Okay, good enough, whatever. All right, so this house, not in the neighborhood, but we can take a look at it to kind of see if it compares at all. It's got a different, so I'm already seeing higher end finishes, beams on the ceiling that we don't have. We do have a gas fireplace, so that's comparable. They have built-ins, I don't. They have crown molding, I don't. Granite looks to be the same. They have a nice overhead, stainless steel appliances. So we're doing a comparison. They do have a pantry, nice master, so primary, whatever we're supposed to call it nowadays. So just looking at these. Hello?
Can I watch Bluey?
No TV right now.
Okay.
Go back in. Alright. And we're going through carpet. Nice lot there. So a lot to love with this house, and let's see where it sold. $440,000. 204 on the square footage. So this one, not knowing the price or anything like that, before I started looking at it, you heard me start immediately talking about how much nicer it was than my home, up there on the square footage. But the price per square foot at almost at over 203 and a half is much more than I would expect out of my home. So I'm not going to click this one because I don't think it's a great comp. So let me just shut the lights off in here. This one, I'm also very familiar with this home, higher end finish outs, things of that nature. Hang on. Hey, Lila! I'm gonna go turn the light back on. Be right back. And that's the way it goes, huh? Okay. So, 302 Phyllis Farm. Again, I'm intimately familiar with this home. It's going to be very similar lot and finish outs. In fact, it's on the same road as mine. So this one I know for sure I'm going to include. 405 Phyllis Farm, same. 191 Magazine. Let's take a look. So I've got a 3-car garage. This one does not. Vinyl flooring, smaller kitchen, similar living room. They have nicer countertop. A little nicer on the finish out, smaller square footage. We do have a better lot, I believe. This one I'm probably going to leave out. I don't think it's the best comp. This one, again, in our neighborhood, very familiar with it. I'm going to count that one. Count this one, also in our neighborhood. Same with this guy here. Same with this one here. So I'm grabbing all these sold comps. And then when it's outside of my neighborhood, I'm kind of looking like this one on Pettit Jean. Believe this might be I don't really like this one as a comp so much. Brennan Michael, pretty good comp. 406 Phyllis Farm, pretty good comp. Terrace, D.R. Horton, also D.R. Horton, not good. So I went from 14 of them down to 8, and let's see, I'm going to go into this different screen here and see if it gets any closer to what our house was. So 42, 42, 1993, 1976, that's my house exactly. Built in 2023. we're at about 184, 183 a square foot. So again, we're between 360 and 365. That number keeps coming up. This avatar house that it built right here is pretty dang close to what I've got. So right now, if I just go off of these numbers, I'm thinking, all right, we can sell it for something around, or list it right about 365, and we would likely get an offer within 3 to 4 weeks. That's what I would be looking at, just off the sold data. So now, all I'm doing, I'm gonna keep that. Where can I get rid of this? I'll get rid of that. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna let it sit over here as I go, and that's all sold stuff from the previous year. Now I could drop it down to the last 90 days to get as specific. There's only been 3, and 375 at 193 a foot, 365 at 180 a foot, and so all in the same ballpark, 185. So 340 to 375. So we're 350s, 360s, still in the ballpark. So that's all the sold stuff. And now we'll work our way back to, is there something under contract? Yes, and I happen to know this one. It's been marked as pending for a very long time. So we're not even going to get into that right now. I might come back and play with that just to show. Maybe we mess with it a little bit. But active, we have 3. Remember, this is not new construction yet. So we have 3 that are on the market right now. One sitting there at almost 200 a foot at 355,000. This would be my direct competition. The same buyer that's looking at my house is probably going to be looking at this one. So how can we compete with this newer house over in Mountain View? They have a fireplace, nice living area, crown molding, thicker granite. Nice sliding barn door, good sized closet, double sinks. Decent lot, decent corner lot, looks like. So that's going to be a very nice home to compete with at $200 a square foot. How can I provide more value to the market than this home does, would be the question. If I wanted to directly compete with it, but still sell for that 365 that I'm leaning towards. Here's another one. Under 1,800 square feet, 355. Looks like it's on the same road. Fairly new. I don't know, maybe they had it rented for a little while. But it's not new construction, unless they just have it mislabeled. But they don't have any carpet, a nicer deck than what I have. I do have a third car, fireplace. They have a nice open living area. So again, pretty close to 200 a foot. I think we can offer a little more value at about 185 a foot. And then here's one. This one's concerning. We're still up over 190, but it's 345, 1,800 square feet. And I happen to know a little bit about this home. It's very nice. So like I said, this one's a little bit concerning, and it makes you wonder, what are they up against? Because this one, quite honestly, heading into this year, had they listed in December or January, even February of this year, this house at 350 probably would have got them an offer. They've already been on the market for 3 weeks, so they're looking to get an offer pretty soon, or they're going to have to come a little closer, probably to that 185 or 180 a foot mark. So that's all the actives that aren't brand new. But if you look, if we go ahead and add in everything, just take out, now there's, instead of 3, there's 30. There's 29 homes for sale, and I'm betting most of these are going to be newer. But here's one right off the bat that's older, from 2006, which people are going to look at. It's in nice shape. People are starting to want a little separation between the kitchen and the living area, and this house provides that. Looks like it's been recently painted, or at least very well kept. Nice entertainment area. So this is a nice home that we would have to compete with, and they're at about 380, and they're over 2,000 square feet. And there are some differences in neighborhoods and things like that we won't really get into. So Mountain View right here, this looks to me like it's not sure who the builder is on. There's several in Mountain View, but it's going to be a 1821 375. So how do we compete with that? Another brand new house at 375. Here's one. Looks new. Yeah. 369.9, 370. Not sold yet. Another one. So a lot right around the 375. Nice 3-car. I like the black and white look. So we're just kind of going through these. This is a D.R. Horton at 365. So you see why it would be difficult to sell my house in this environment, because we're not even halfway through and we're already under that initial, where the initial data led. And now we're up against pools. Nice. So these are nice homes. On the market for 27 days. 355. And again, most of these, I think, except for the D.R. Horton houses, have been over that threshold, that 180 to 185 a foot. There's another D.R. Horton that's under it. So, and then I'm going to go into the pending, the new construction, but and then here is one built in 1955. So unlikely that a buyer looking for a newer house is going to go check this one out, but it is nice. So why not? You know, maybe just go take a peek at it and consider it. I think on an older home, you're trying to capture price point exactly. So, you know, 350 or less on something like this for sure. And they're doing a good job there. That's another D.R. Horton. Here's another older one, 325. Much more square footage for 325. That's nice. Again, another nice, well-kept home. You're probably going to update things along the way, but you could move into this. And it offers a pool. You know, a little bit of luxury there. And Forest View Drive, you're not far, yeah, just down from the schools. So, you know, get yourself quite a bit of space in Prairie Grove with that one. More D.R. Horton, and now we're getting, here's one, an older one. About the same size as mine, bigger lot. We're talking 290. Nice view of the floor plan. So again, probably gonna have lower ceilings. Obviously, a newly built house is gonna have more modern layout, but I think the finish outs at our houses are gonna be a little nicer. But I mean, this is $290,000, so it's something. If you can get more space for less money, maybe it's something that people look at. So I think you get the point. You go through the competition and try to figure out where you fit best. I think where we fit best is dramatically impacted by what D.R. Horton is offering right now. And what's this one on Summer Lane? 661 Summer Lane. This is a nice home. Still, you know, about $10 more a square foot than where I would go ahead and put it. So, what? Huh? No, baby. I'll be in a minute. I'm working. Okay. So where was I? Oh yeah, figuring out where we fit in and amongst the competition. So what I'm curious about now is to go into pending, but I want to just, so there's 18 instead of just the one that we had. There are 18, and this one built in 2017. 415, very high finish outs, very nice. Larger lot. Fireplace outdoors. 362 here on Sedgwick. So that gives me a little hope for the 360 to 365 range. Okay, that's the one I was talking about. So now we start with these. This one on Sugarloaf, I believe that's Schubert Mitchell, and then this one's D.R. Horton. So lots of D.R. Horton. You see, we're getting into it. Goes from the 360 range, drops to the 340 and under for houses that are inside of that criteria with the square footage. And that was my suspicion, was that the market is reacting big time to D.R. Horton and Schubert Mitchell, the incentives, the amount of house that they're giving for the money. So what we would need to do on my home is do a great job of marketing the, and then here we have some older homes coming in underneath that. But so it's going to be very stiff competition from a couple of the new builders. I do think if we went in at 180 to 185 a foot, we would be in line with the market, but I don't think we would get offers right away. I think we would have to give it some time for some of these new construction buyers to get into our neighborhood. We would really have to probably open house this thing to get people over here so that we can give the benefits of that the other neighborhoods don't have. That would be our biggest play. Our houses, we're gonna have similar features and finish outs and things like that to D.R. Horton and Schubert Mitchell, and they are right now offering the same size house for less money. So how can we compete with that? And it may end up being where we can't, and we just need to wait to sell. But I wouldn't want to sell my house for what it's for less than what it's worth if I don't have to. But if we had to get up and go right now for whatever reason, we'd probably put our house at about 350 to try to compete with those. We give them more square footage, a little better location, and get them out of here. But if we were just going to get on the market and we didn't have anything necessarily forcing us out, and we had a couple months to sell, I think 360 to 365, probably 365 is where I'd start. That wouldn't put it out of reach for anybody. It'd be well within the data. And if it wasn't selling, we could point to that new construction and say, okay, if we can, we need to pull it down. We need to wait until there's a lull in their inventory. Which right now, what we have? We had, let's just go 2024, 2025. 14 houses would be going up against, and almost all of them. So we'd be trying to mix in with these guys price-wise. And then even, so let's just take a look at what you could get from D.R. Horton. Large open spaces, A lot of counter and cabinet space. This is a nice home. Given the opportunity, I think I could show the features and benefits of a home like ours, but even this has more square footage. So that's a DR, and then it starts. So we're rubbing elbows with some of these, and then another new construction home under 350. What was the price per foot on the other one? So 173, 206. So everyone but that DR house, we'd be offering more square footage and similar home, extra bath, extra garage space, except again for this one. So this one, in a coin flip toss up, the value is probably with this DR Horton home over ours, but it's not bad to have one. This one here even has a similar slope, so it'd be a toss up here between ours and this one. I really like that staircase. Let me go back to that. It's kind of cool. I like that. Anyway, that was on Nebo Street. So, but that's where I'd want to mix it. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 similar homes for much less. So I would like our house's chance at 360 to 365 against the competition out there, and it matches up with what's sold and what's pending and things like that. So to finish up, what we would do from there, if we were going to present to you, we would go through all of that kind of thinking out loud and things like that, and we would pick which homes out of the sold, out of what's under contract, and then from there we're figuring out what similar homes are attracting similar buyers, which we did all that during that poking through all the data, but we would just put it into digestible form if you were a seller that we could present to you. And through all of that, we would determine a competitive price range, which I think the competitive price range in this case is probably 350 to 370, and I would want to list at 365, somewhere inside of that price range. I don't want to go to the low side just yet, because truthfully I wouldn't be willing to take that for my home at this point. I think my cutoff would probably be around 355 or 360. So I would start at 365, and if it didn't work out, I know my home is worth that much by the comps, so I might just have to wait for some of this new inventory to clear out and hope and pray that more new inventory doesn't come on, or try to find that lull in the market, try to figure out the building rhythm and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of timing that if you can hit it right, your house will sell for more and faster when you're in a new construction heavy market. I've seen it play out over and over again, to where you can't just spit out data and expect it to happen. You kind of have to know what's going on in terms of the rhythm of the market, which you're never going to time things perfectly, but you can usually tell when a builder is like, okay, we're going to be 6 months while we start putting houses on all these slabs, and we really don't have that much inventory available. But once they have all that inventory available, it's much harder to sell a resale home if it's really close on the comparable features. So again, we determine the competitive price range, and then we review for mistakes and oversights. So we would go back through all of what we just did and make sure we didn't miss anything. We might even add a few things, like maybe just do 4 beds or something, like just play with it until what our science showed us, our gut feels the same. It's like, okay, I'm very comfortable with this now, and confident that this is the range that you can expect a sale in. So you go over several different sets of data from different angles, different directions, and you really narrow in. Certain numbers keep coming up. Like in this, the number that kept coming up for newer resale homes in Prairie Grove was something between 180 and 190 a foot. So that sticks in my mind. And then when we narrowed it down further, more applicable to my house, it was between 180 and 185 a foot, which I keep saying 365, but 180 times 1976 is 355, 680, and 185 times 1976 equals 365, 560. So 355 to 365 is where I would expect my home to sell, and I would probably expect an offer within 3 to 4 weeks. But if we went out on the market at 365 and we did not get an offer in the first 2 weeks, I would go to 359.9 at that time to try to capture what's left of the most excited buyers that are out there. And so at that point, I'd be looking for my 355. And if it didn't happen, then I might reconsider my timing and try again at a later date. So that's 2 videos now, one last week and one this week, on how listing agents price homes. And if it seems like a lot of work and going over a lot of data, you might even have your friend or cousin or mom or brother, whoever your family agent is, tell you that you don't have to go through all of that. But we really should. As list agents, we need to be able to tell you where we think your property will perform price-wise, how long it might take, with the caveat that it's a live changing market. Obviously, we consider actives and pendings to try to give the most recent activity going on. But a lot of what we depend on is lagging data. So, the market might not do exactly what we think it's going to do, but all of this data analysis really helps us get very close in terms of both price point and timing to help you make really good decisions based on your property and your needs and what your next steps are and when they need to be accomplished. So if we don't have these answers, if we don't understand the market in general, then how can we possibly be serving you other than just saying, well, I think it'll sell here and I hope it does and I wish you all the best. Like, we can be a really good friend to you, but not be as professional as we should be, especially if we're asking for a chunk of your equity at the end of the sale. If we're charging you for a service, don't you think that service should be of the highest possible quality? And are you getting the highest possible quality service if somebody just tries to throw a price at the wall and hope it sticks? I don't think you are. That's up to all of us to decide. But if you have decided that you want to sell or get into the market and you're looking for an agent, or you would like a professional opinion on how your property might perform, please once again call me, Blake, at 479-363-4331, or you can call Ashley, 479-325-9348. Either one of us would love to talk to you and explore your options with you and see if we might be a good fit to work together now or in the future. So, all right, that was episode number 5 of the Team Black and Gold Show. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a great day, and hope your week is absolutely splendid going forward. We'll see you next time.